Congresswoman Julie Johnson, a Democrat from Dallas. We began with the federal government shutdown, though, and what will happen when Congress returns Tuesday. Congresswoman, welcome back to the program here. How do you expect this shutdown is going to end?
Well, I expect the shutdown is going to end with passing of the Democratic Senate resolution to reopen the government that restores everyone's health care. It's pretty simple. It restores the government, it opens it up just like everything else, but it doesn't slash health care for 32 million people. And so it just puts all that back in place. It continues the ACA tax credits that have been in effect. It doesn't make any changes to that. So it restores people's health care, keeps the government open, and the people are speaking very loudly that they want their health care.
And to remind our viewers about this, the Democrats are trying to preserve this $40 billion in payments that go to insurance companies to keep premiums low, health insurance premiums low. Here's a question, though. Why not just let Republicans take the hit on health insurance costs rising?
Well, Democrats care about people, and people suffer. I care about my constituents who don't have health care. People have reached out to me. People have, critical health complications, needs that they need to take care of medically. And if they don't, they could die, or they could have really serious health complications. And so, I'm not in the business of trying to play politics with people's lives. I think Republicans are playing roulette like that. They're willing to cut everyone's health care off. I'm not. I'm willing to fight as hard as I can to make sure people get the health care that they need, and because it's important. It's for people's health, it's for their financial safety, it's for their health safety, and it's just the right thing to do.
Let's shift off and talk about the lawsuit unfolding in El Paso over the congressional maps that Republicans redrew over the summer. You've been watching this from afar, but what does it look like? Are you confident at all in the back and forth over there, and what do you think is going to happen?
Well, yes, I'm very optimistic that the court is going to overthrow these racist maps that the Texas legislature and Greg Abbott drew. It is unquestionable that race was used inappropriately, illegally, in a way to diminish and dilute the vote of minority voters in the state of Texas. So, at the end of the day, in my opinion, I'm a lawyer. I've been practicing law here in Dallas for over 35 years, and at the end of the day, if this is the quintessential case of racial discrimination in vote allocation and gerrymandering. If Texas loses this case, if we lose this case as the plaintiffs, then there just really is no viable claim for racial gerrymandering claims going forward in this country. And the Supreme Court of the United States have already held in two different instances, in Louisiana and in Alabama, that both of those states violated the law in inappropriately racially drawing lines, and they forced them to redraw them to allow for two minority opportunity seats. And that's why we have Shamari Figures and Cleo Fields from those states. And so, this very Supreme Court has already taken the stance that yes, racial gerrymandering claims are a viable cause of action in this country. And in my opinion, I think that what the state of Texas has done in these maps is very, very egregious and certainly falls within that category.
Before I let you go, I want to ask you about the Texas National Guard in Illinois. What's your reaction to this?
It's just outrageous. I cannot believe that Governor Abbott is again bending the knee to President Trump. There is no ends to which that man will bend to the will of Trump and what he's trying to do in his unlawful militarization of our American cities. Houston and Dallas have some of the highest crime. They have, we had 10 shootings just this past weekend. And so, Greg Abbott is ignoring the crime in his own state and deploying our National Guard, our men and women of the state of Texas, into other states. It's just absolutely inappropriate. It's wrong, and I wish he would not do that, and they should come home.
Congresswoman, good to see you. Thank you for the time.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.